what does it mean to design from joy. And actually I misread it at first and I saw design for joy, which I think is probably the designer in me, in that I think a lot of designers are always thinking about the people they're creating something for, because that's the way we've been trained and taught, and that's the work we do. Is we get a brief, we think about the project, what it is we're trying to do for a certain person or group of people, and then, you know, if we're worth anything, we'll hopefully try and make that experience a really useful one, or even a joyful one. So there's different layers of experience that we can create when we're creating for other people. I think my experience of being a designer is, I think a lot of designers go on this journey of, you know, loving creating things, loving designing things for other people, and over time, sometimes that sort of mojo, that joy, that zest for the work we do can sometimes diminish, because often we get caught in projects and sometimes in companies or even agencies where maybe we're just not feeling the joy in the client that we're working for, or the team we're part of, or maybe the product, we don't believe in it. And so slowly I found, certainly for me, when I was doing client work over a decade or so, that joy certainly seemed to diminish a little bit, in terms of, why am I doing this? Is there a real kind of clear reason to this for the people we're creating for? Is it actually going to help them, or is it just going to help the company that they're selling this thing to? But also, how does it help me? Like, do I really believe in this? Is this something that I want to spend my time doing? And so that's why I think that subtle switch from designing to designing from is important, because I found that when you create things from a place of your own joy, your own excitement, your own interest, then I just think that comes across in the way you communicate about it and the way you actually create things. And it feels easier to then do all the things you guys talk about, market yourself, you know, find your voice, sell. I think I found, you know, all of those things become easier and actually can be joyful themselves if you really believe in the thing you're trying to create, and also understanding where that's coming from. And for me, that's really about understanding your needs, really. And we talk about this on the program that we run, and you've been part of it. And that's really where that post came from yesterday, was this idea of, what does designing from joy mean for me? And for me, it's really a source of creativity is one. So that was the first thing that came to mind when I thought about this topic, was how does any idea, any project I work on satisfy my need for creativity? Because if I don't feel like it is satisfying that, then I won't have the energy to do it well. And I've found in the past that that's something you can summon when you have to, but over time it's almost like a diminishing pool of energy. And, you know, having done sort of design work for 20 odd years, I found, you know, I know when my energy's up and when my energy's down, and I've found that I've just got less and less interest in doing things that don't excite me anymore. It's as simple as that. And so if I've got limited time left and limited sort of energy left, then why not use that on things that get me excited? And again, I feel creative in that space. So that's one thing. I think another thing was connection. So seeing design as a source of connection to other people. So even if I was to create something on my own, seeing it as a way to connect with other people, even if I don't actually meet them. And that's something that I was missing in the past, was maybe that feeling of connection to the end user of an app we were designing or a website we were creating. We didn't really get that feeling of connection. We got connection to the client, and that was, you know, great. They were happy, but I certainly felt like a bit of hollowness sometimes with those projects, was even though we tried to get in front of people and have that real clear connection to the people we're designing for, often there was just a big bridge, you know, between them that we never got across. And that was just a source of frustration over time, because you get paid for the work, the client was happy, but you didn't really feel like the work you were doing was having much impact, because you couldn't see it. Even if it was true, you didn't really see that impact. So that's something that I've tried to bring more to the forefront of our work these days, is to really feel that impact and see it, and see it on a more intimate level than just numbers on the spreadsheet, or, you know, stats on a web analytics page, you know, feeling that from people's faces, or words or stories, which is way more important for me.